Well, good morning, our beloveds. And how is everyone doing today? Is your life unfolding or evolving as you would prefer or not? And if not, where are you getting in your way? Where are you not taking the steps or making the decisions that would help to shift your life in a different direction? This is go time. It has been go time for a while now. And where you feel stuck, why are you stuck? Where are the choices and the options that you, specifically you, refuse to exercise? You all keep thinking you are victims of your circumstances when you really have so many more options and choices available that you simply refuse to exercise, though you're fully aware that they're there. Or you can't simply see that they exist because you have put a bucket over your head. When you stop looking at yourself as a victim and actively choose to think, what options do I have available? What options do I have available to move me into a different space? Once you allow yourself to go to that space, just what options do I have available? Not what are optimal options, what is the easiest, what feels the most comfortable, what won't stress me. What options do I have available? So when you look at the individuals who are in Maui, what options did some of them exercise? To go out into the water and to dunk under, to keep them safe from the flames, from the heat, from the smoke. What options do you have available? Not what optimal options to keep you comfortable and safe. Sometimes you do have to jump out of a perfectly good airplane with a parachute that has been tested, because that is your only option, even though you are terrified of the heights and you are terrified of dying. But sometimes when that plane is going to crash, it is your most optimal option because it gets you out of the insecurity within which you currently find yourselves. Rome is burning, and many of you remain within the boundaries of the city while sitting there, numbing yourself with whatever mechanism you have chosen as your go-to, and it's not serving you. And you're going to burn one day if you don't have the common sense and the self-preserving interest to get up and walk away from where you find yourselves. Sometimes walking away is all that you need to choose, and that will get you into a different space and place with different people and different options. And therein you will find new and different options upon which you can build your future. But sometimes stepping out of what you have is the first step, even though it is terrifying. It is scary. It is uncomfortable. It is not financially feasible. It is frightening. It is scarcity mindset that keeps you where you are at. Feel the abundance of what is really out in the field these days to find a different way. And maybe you need to be scrappy, and maybe you need to fight for survival for a bit. But we can tell you by doing that, by fighting for survival, you will find your desire to live and to live differently. Maybe you need to be in scarcity instead of in the abundance of the abusive home within which you live. Maybe that scarcity mindset will remind you how much you really want to live and how much you can find joy in doing for yourself and demanding something different. It is a challenging time for many people, and many are finally really beginning to realize how abusive their home environment, their work environment, their family environment is. You have normalized what a shit show feels like because it just felt good at the time, because it felt better than the alternative. But you are no longer there. You are no longer in that initial childhood experience where you learned your coping mechanism. And now, even though you don't want to, you may have options and choices that you don't want to exercise because they are uncomfortable. But you will never grow out of your current skin suit and shed it if you don't grow, if you don't challenge yourself to become a better and more human person who loves herself or himself or themselves so much that you are willing to step out of your unique cycle of abuse, because it's finally time. It's finally time for you to grow. And believe us, we see how Rome is burning. Your globe is on fire. Would you rather go buy another plastic bottle with water in it because it sustains you in the moment, but kills your host by next week? Or will you learn to go get a glass bottle, a glass jar, and go get yourself a Berkey filter or something that produces healthier water from your drinking source, and do what is sustainable in the short run and in the long run, getting better quality water in your body? Ever thought about that? Your body is 70, 80, or 90% water, depending upon who you are. That is the greatest influence in your health, and you're filling it with toxins and junk. And you're creating an insustainable, inhospitable planet at this point because of your intermediate and short-term choices. None of you have a long-term perspective these days, 500 years out, because you cannot even imagine Mother Earth making it that long. And for some of you, you just don't fucking care. And that's okay. But how's that serving you at this point, in this moment in your life? What changes can you exercise to sustain your own quality of life and preserve your life and your sanity? You don't see what you don't see because you don't want to see it. You don't want to see the insustainability. And so you believe rhetoric outside of yourself. Those people who say climate change is not real. Well, how's that working for you when your body is overheating, when the waters are drying up, when the waters are toxic because of the rains that fall down from the chemical-filled skies? So how's that working for you to deny climate change? Because as the world goes, so go you. You will continue to feel miserable and uncomfortable in many ways in your life if you don't acknowledge what's going on outside of you, because you don't want to. You don't want to trust that you will die within 10 or 20 years on this planet if you don't make a massive shift, because it's not sustainable. So how is that working for you? And how is that working for your children? Now, having said everything that we have said, our mother's reminding us that she doesn't like fear-mongering, and nor do we. But sometimes we do got to just point the reality out to you all and say you got 10 or 20 years. Good years? Good. Probably an over-exaggeration, but if you all don't intentionally shift your thinking to something more wholesome and holy, you will go the way of the dinosaurs. It is the natural outgrowth of separation from self at the end of the day. When you reunite with your true essence, the part of you that you have hidden from, that you have run from, that you drink to death, drug to death, sex to death, gamble to death, exercise to death, work to death, sleep to death, whatever it is, there's no limit to what the coping mechanisms are. But when you all stop using those excuses for distraction and really come back into your body and just sit and be present, you'll really notice that Rome is burning, and you will get up and you will walk out and you will choose a different and better life. And until then, expect to be overwhelmed by the fumes of the flames. It'll burn your eyes. It'll overheat your skin. It will cause you to get dehydrated. You will have so many physical responses to the imbalance of the environment within which you live. And only when you choose to get up, choose to see where you're at, and choose to make a vastly different choice to get you out of what is unsustainable, that is when your life will begin. And then you will help to lead others to safety as well. It's pretty simple. And we share our nuggets of wisdom today because our another is beginning to see how the individual and personal choices that she made 4 years ago have sustained her, have taught her to fight her way back to the top. And not the top of the dog pile, but the top of the mountain where the air is clean, the view is beautiful, fantastic, magical, and your perception of your life alters because you can see with clarity, you can breathe with clarity, you can observe with clarity, and you're alone because so few climb to the top of the mountain. You feel safe in the numbers of only those who have risen to the challenge too, to become the best version of themselves. And the rest of you muggles, you're down in the valley, in the fog, in the toxic waters, the toxic rains, the toxic foods, believing somehow that your life matters because you're numb and you're irresistible because of the choices that you have made that make you feel like you fit in, while you really are just living within a toxic stew down there because you don't know anything else. Becoming you is not easy. Becoming you is not easy, and it was never meant to be easy. The lizards have to shed their skin. The snakes have to shed their skin. The lobsters have to shed their skin. And when you shed your skin, you're very vulnerable for a while. But then you grow a new hard outer shell or protective skin. And you grow again and again and again, encountering many challenges and disturbing experiences. But you don't shy for them, because if you shy from them, you die. You need to grow as much as the reptilians do. It is no different. The crustaceans, right? Molting your skin is a good thing. Growing out of your comfort zone is a good thing, and it's time. It's time for humanity to wake up and believe that its growth is more important than its safety and security. Because your safety and security is forcing you or causing you to give up everything that is worth living for. And that is excitement and dopamine hits and serotonin hits that are in balance with nature instead of with the chemicals that you choose to ingest. we shall leave it there because our another is quite uncomfortable with this message. She doesn't like these vibrations, but sometimes a reality check is needed to remind you of where you are not in balance, so that tomorrow you can begin to make those massive changes that are required in order to resume balance within your own body and within Mother Earth's experience and the collective consciousness. And so it is. Namaste.